There it is.
Perfect. I'll forget those in 2 seconds. All right. Well, we're live.
Unfree Britney.
Iron Palace Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Iron Palace Podcast, the world's most anabolic podcast, your own personal survival guide to getting guaranteed gains with no side effects.
None.
If you
So far.
listened last week, you know how to survive the dolphin rut also.
That is a true story. So, to jump right into it, we have a very cool guest today. So, without further ado, from sidewalk slams to being that damn man's, he's a gorilla with a golf club whose accuracy and power is only rivaled by Bob Ross with a paintbrush. Heed his warning, get in his way, and get destroyed. Now entering the ring, the unstoppable, the immovable, the awe-inspiring, John Lynn. I thought that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty epic.
Yeah.
One of my better ones for sure. Did you like the gorilla with a golf club?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially considering
Yeah.
what I told you there.
Yeah.
So,
Whenever you told me that, I was like, that's going in here.
They could call Holland that for a completely different reason.
I will say I had to call Dave last night for help on it because originally I had what'd I say?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was, from power bombs to your mom's or something. And I,
Well, that, hey.
sometimes I'm a bad guy just a little bit.
yeah. So usually I don't prepare a lot of questions because we usually just kind of roll into our stuff with our guests. But since even we genuinely don't know you, this is the first time we've met, so
Gotcha.
might as well ask questions. So first being, you do professional wrestling, which is pretty cool, and we often find ourselves talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really know how.
Thinking about it, dreaming about it.
They even actually went on a long text chain not that long ago saying we should try it.
Oh, hey.
So-
Yeah, well, you've now got the connection for that.
Yeah. It was like we need to come up with some kind of beef with somebody and then.
Oh, yeah. Got to have a storyline, a plan
Right.
Yep.
going into it.
Yeah, Dave is already
Chestnut checkers.
Dave's a self-proclaimed heel.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm the baddest man on this couch,
Okay.
Yeah.
depending on how Holland identifies in that particular moment.
if he lets you be.
Oh, no, you're the baddest man.
All right, so to jump into it, first off, what does training to be a wrestler look like?
So that's kind of an interesting question. Completely different than everything I had anticipated. You know, I've spent years in the gym trying to build my body up. Really, my goal was to be a bodybuilder. That didn't really work out. And so I come into it thinking, okay, here I am fit. I've got decent cardio. It is the best thing I could compare it to is almost like a CrossFit.
Okay, that makes sense.
Super high intensity cardio drills. And then you've got that side, your performance side. And the other part is learning how to be safe. Learning how to protect yourself, protect the other person, because you sit out there and you look. I mean, you literally are slamming a person up over your head, and especially big guys like me, 300-pound people. There is an art to putting that person back down on the mat without killing them or maiming them in some way.
I told you,
Holland's
Dave.
got it down pretty good.
So I would say getting your cardio to levels that I never wanted to have as a weightlifter, and learning how to not kill yourself or the other person.
I just lean into it. No cardio. My character's the wheeze.
There you go. We call it getting blowed up.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the local indie wrestlers, about a minute to 2 minutes in, they're doing the wheeze. So I was at the beginning too. So it's
I get
okay.
Their matches are all TikTok length.
I was about to say, I'm going to tell everybody at the beginning, don't make this last long. I will die.
You would think 10 minutes isn't a long amount of time, but it kills you. It is a lot if you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I agree.
when Caleb told us you're going to be on the podcast, I went and looked you up and I watched a lot of videos.
Oh, cool.
I mean, you're a high energy guy, anyways. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of my character, and right now I'm in the middle of going a little more high energy. As of the last little bit, kind of going to the dark side, playing the heel, being that guy, which is kind of my default mode. So you've had to be good and kiss the babies and love the people, and so now it's getting to put a little bit more of that energy out in the field is kind of nice.
Is it more fun to do, be the heel?
Oh, yeah.
Seems like
yeah.
it
Well,
would be.
last weekend, though, I kind of hurt my heart a little bit. Little girl come up. She says, "You're a loser." I said, "You would know, little girl." Instant tears. Crying, running to her mom. My significant other is in the crowd, and she's looking at me like, my kids are there too. And so, but, you know.
Can't stand the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
Exactly. That's what I told her.
Daddy made a little girl cry.
No more eye contact in that direction for the rest of the night. I was like, oh, that. Because it's like, you're going to come up and yell at me. Like, don't.
True.
Instant. All right.
Well, that actually brings us to my next question is, how similar are your in-ring and out-of-ring personalities?
Ooh. So currently, my in-ring personality is beginning to reflect a lot of who I am as a person. I kind of a rough life. Lot of rougher situations in my childhood, kind of what drove me to the gym and really in that world to begin with. In the past, not so much, but right now, I think the attitude, how I am, how I carry myself, try to, dominant personality in the ring, I think that's a close reflection, and I'm kind of enjoying getting to be myself now. It's not that I'm not nice. It's just, my life's been a fight, and now I get to act like it is. So I'm in a weird, this was just a week ago too, this big turn happened. So I'm still filling that out as I go.
So then I guess that should have been the first question is, what got you into wrestling?
So about 4 years ago, a guy came, started working at the place I've been at for 10 years now. He's a professional wrestler. His name's Scott Savage. He actually, at one point in time, had some traction and was on some lower-level promotions, kind of like a modern TNA. It was called IECW. He got me to go about 3 years ago, but I was finishing up my master's degree, and I had no capability of juggling that responsibility and getting in the ring. I grew up loving wrestling, and here's this guy saying, "Dude, you're big. You should go do this. You get to drop people on their head." And I was like, that sounds kind of fun. So ended up not being able to juggle both. Started about 3 years ago, circle back around about a year and a half ago, got back into it and have just fallen in love with it. I get to be this bigger than life person, which is kind of who I feel like I am. And so it has been the most surprisingly rewarding thing. And in my personal life, I'm a business person, have an MBA, deal with money all the time. And then I get to go and just beat the crap out of people. Now, most people around the house, they think that I've had some type of, not midlife, but some type of crisis. They're a little concerned. So I used to be a farmer and you're this business dude and all of a sudden you're going to put on tights and go slam people. Okay. But so it's been that would be how I would answer that. Just a friend, a connection. He's like, "Do you want to do this?" And went thinking this is not for me, and really have found an outlet for myself to, one, continue feeling my passion for fitness and the gym and lifting, and you just get to be this bigger than life person.
I mean, I know we all grow up into wrestling. I don't know of any guy that grows up not watching some form of it.
Here in East Tennessee, I mean, it's huge. I never forget, I was a little kid going up to Knoxville, getting to see The Rock in person. It's kind of crazy. I actually found my mom's cup from that event the other day. I got it sitting up on the shelf out in my shed just as a kind of little reminder, but it was weird. I got away from it and then, kind of became a fan again, started getting back into watching. And then this guy shows up at work. It's like, "Hey man, you should be a wrestler." Okay. Wow. And I never in a million years thought I would be, of course I'm just at the local level, just kind of building myself up right now, but I have dreams. I would, be remiss if I didn't say, I'm not going to waste my time. If I didn't think I could do something with it, I wouldn't try.
I agree.
So maybe one day I could be one of those people.
It's definitely worth trying. And I know we tend to dabble in some weird sports, but I find it very entertaining to meet other people who are in sports that, like growing up, everybody thinks about doing it, but I have not thought about trying wrestling probably until like a week ago when Dave brought it up.
Gotcha.
Like, I mean, there's been people like come out and say like, "You should try it." And, I got enough going on. but yeah, I think it's really cool, especially what you're doing. So my next question.
Good, you should try something from doing anything. Like I think you should fly that airplane. Like bet, dog. Like
How'd I know we'd get back to this? He's been talking about flying a plane since he got here.
Dude, that's awesome. That's one of my dreams. It's just a lot of time and a lot of money.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
flies
easily
a simulator.
impressionable. That was just
okay.
That was just an example. I'm just easily impressionable.
You can get a pilot's license up there in Knoxville.
Well, hey, did you ever see the video of that guy that stole that airplane, flew it around, had this conversation with the air traffic control forever, and then was like, okay, I'm gonna try to land in the ocean now, or the lake, or whatever it was.
Don't think that ended well.
Yeah, no, but
I think that was his intention the whole time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was wild.
But he'd try a barrel roll, or just all this stuff. He's like, hey, wow, that worked. Okay,
That's what Dave would do.
Yeah,
like you're just describing how Dave wants to go
What's
out.
this button do? Immediately worse. How do I undo that? Oh gosh.
Dave would be up there. This works just like a simulator.
Yeah. Dude, Grand Theft Auto wasn't lying.
All right, so, do you cut promos in your everyday life?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that you've got to be into wrestling to do that.
Oh no,
I think everybody does that to some degree.
Putting someone in their place. There's different names for it, but absolutely. I'm pretty well known for that actually, and so it's been nice to translate that into the ring too.
That's nice. That's cool.
Before I let my dog out, I'll cut him a promo from his perspective to the dog that he always barks at in the backyard.
Hyping
Get
him
hyped up. Yeah, before we go outside.
There you
He
go.
loves it.
Does he love it or do you love it?
Oh, he gets pretty excited. We're both hopping around by the time the door opens. We're both ready to beat the crap out of the little dog. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, if that fence wasn't there, that dog would probably take both of us.
Then who were some of your role models, like getting into the sport kind of thing?
Wrestling or just overarching?
We can do both.
Well, wrestling, Brock Lesnar. That is the guy who I've tried to kind of pattern myself off of, learn from. I wrestle in a similar style to him. He is 1 inch taller than me, just one. But weight wise, I'm right there with him. That would be the person. You know, not so much in his personal. He's kind of been more reserved, and of course, there's some things here lately where I'm getting into that. But I would say him as a wrestler. A lot of sports figures, people have really been an inspiration to me. I think like Michael Jordan saying, "I will become what I know I am." He's someone that I have really, Kobe as well. I'm not even a big basketball fan. These are just people who their work ethic and their extreme commitment to discipline has always been attractive and something that I've wanted to pattern my life off of. That Michael Jordan, I will become what I know I am. I'm 34 years old. I'm kind of in the middle range for wrestlers for age. I'm starting out at late. But I really believe that I could do something with that. And I've had a lot of people trust me at the house. You are crazy. You've lost your mind. What is this? But I guess I would say sports figures for both. But Kobe, and there's so many things with him too, just that insane work ethic. And, I've always believed that of course, innate talent, abilities exist within people, but it really comes down to what kind of work we put into our body and put into our life, because that's the results I see. Not some magic one where success just comes my way. I've only got anywhere by fighting and earning.
I think DDP didn't start till he was in his mid-30s.
You're right. Actually, I think he got the championship when he was like 41.
Yeah.
Really started wrestling about 38.
Yeah, he started pretty late.
And so it's funny you brought him up. He's like the go-to in my mind of saying, he did it.
Yeah.
So maybe someone else can.
Yeah.
You're talking about Kobe. I was watching this thing about him, and they were talking about if you just took his measurables, Kobe's an average NBA player. Like his like his vertical, his speed, like all that stuff. They're like his measurables are average. But what he made up for in innate ability, he made up for it with work.
Yeah.
He put in more work than anybody did, and like he took, because they were talking about like I can't remember what his vertical was, but it's smack in the middle.
Yeah.
His wingspan, his hand size, and like Jordan had huge hands for his size. Kobe didn't. Kobe had a lot of stuff that he would just based on his physical attributes, average NBA player.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
That extra work is everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
Yeah, the Black Mamba is what got him there. It wasn't just Kobe was talking about. He played in I think it was an AAU league. It was like a 12-year-old, and I think for the season had like 6 points. And they're like, "Why is that?" He goes, "Because I was terrible." Like he didn't start off as this great basketball player. He worked himself into it, and that's Kobe's the guy that I really appreciate, as far as sports figures go.
That's something I'm really just trying to pattern myself, because at this point, it's not going to be just who I am. That work is the only thing.
Yeah.
And that's something I think we can apply to any part of our life. That's amazing. I didn't know that, what you'd said about his stats.
Yeah.
That makes sense with who he was.
Oh, yeah. And he was constantly, like, he never thought about anything other than getting better, Like NBA players are talking about, like, when he was in high school, he was call, he would get their numbers and he would call them,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
"Hey, I saw in the game last night, the guy come up to the low post and you made this move. What were you doing? What was the reason that you did that?" Like, he was just constantly studying it and working.
It's next level right there.
Wow. All right, last question. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite PR that you have accomplished? This is one of my favorite questions because it may be like your biggest lift, or it may be getting your master's degree or something, because I like to think it's your favorite, one that you think about often. Could be anything.
Wow. In the gym, I have a couple things, that have really stood out to me. Mm-hmm. First time, leg pressing over 1,000 pounds. First time I got 2 plates on a bench press, even though I don't do that no more. Dumbbells. After orthopedic surgeon and time in the just dumbbells. That's what we like now. But everyone else is just, you've gave up on the bench. My friends send me videos of him 4 on each side. What is that, like 405?
Yeah, who cares?
Probably I would actually say getting my bachelor's degree. And that sounds, I don't use it. It doesn't benefit me in any way today. I don't use either one of my degrees, actually, for my career. But 2012, my mom passed away. I was the only child. It was completely unexpected. And I was 6 months away from completing my degree. I quit. I spent 7 years out of school, 6 months away from that degree. Go back 7 years in 2019 later, and because things have changed and I have to go for over a year, had to fight myself, take classes I'd already taken before, go back through that process. And so I ended up having a total of, I don't even know how many years that process, over a decade. In just being able to go back to something that I'd failed at. And I actually tried one time to go back before and failed out again. Had done great in school, was on the dean's list up until that point when mom passed. I just kind of lost my mind for a little while. And I would say that would be my favorite PR, because it's not even the biggest degree or thing I've ever done. But for me at a personal level, to go back and turn an L into a W, even if it is 7-8 years later, that has helped me. That was kind of a turning point. After she passed, I spent several years just in a neutral. That's the way I'd call it. Just going nowhere, farming at my house, just working my job, just hiding from the world. And that was the moment where I said, you know what, I get to live one time. I'm getting close to 30 years old. And if I wait much longer, then maybe this will never happen. So I'd say that, actually. That's awesome. Been a real foundation point to restart my life and get in a better direction.
Yeah, I think that's, especially to go back after that much time, that's huge.
It was hard, and then when the graduation time finally comes, I knew nobody, had no, it was bittersweet. It was such a nice thing to just move on from. And since then, go back to school again, begin this wrestling career, start weightlifting about 4 years ago. I just shifted my whole life into a positive direction. And, I would just tell don't wait. I waited 7 years when I could have, but we deal with things in our own way. And it's, I've finally had healing from that and been able to move on. And sometimes there's some fuel in the gym from some of the things in the past, but That's how I would say.
Well, we had a guest at one time say that no one deadlifts 500 pounds that's okay in the head.
I'm yeah.
I know. I wanted to disagree, but I couldn't. So
There's a saying among wrestlers that every person who wrestles has a couple screws loose in there. You kind of have to a little bit, but I've never heard that about the deadlifting. But I think of all the people who can really pull some crazy stuff, and yeah.
Yep. That's what, whenever he said that, I wanted to disagree with him, but then I thought, so the first time I hit 600 pounds, I was not exactly in a great state of mind. So I was like, I can't argue.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that's awesome. That's why I like the question of what's your favorite PR. Cause I mean, asking what your biggest lifts are is,
Well,
it's fun.
It's like Chambly's,
Yeah.
That hit, what was it? Is that caber, the first caber that he turned after after he came back from his cancer.
Yep. Or Chad Clark's was whenever his friend's daughter won her first event or something.
Oh yeah. Was it Moss Wrestling?
I think so.
It was, yeah.
But
It's a deep question.
Yeah, I love that question.
Absolutely.
And I keep forgetting to ask people, so I'm going to start bringing it back. But to change gears a little bit, because there's been some pretty big fight. We don't talk about fights or boxing a whole lot, but there's been some pretty big events happen in the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
That I couldn't pass up talking about. Number one being the one we've talked about a lot is Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Yeah.
They're saying postponed, but we all know what that means. Probably canceled.
Yep.
He just had an ulcer flare up.
Yeah.
Being all right.
And they said flare up, not even like, I don't know. I mean, he's in his 50s, I guess. So.
I think all the PEDs that he started cranking up
could be
messed his guts up for a little bit,
especially if you've been off for so long.
Yep. And I just found it to be a weird excuse of he got nauseous, but then he landed on the plane and he's fine. I was like, then why are we postponing the fight? Like, you just said he's fine.
Yeah, his blood chemistry is probably all screwed up right now.
58 years old, something like that.
Something like that. He's up there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he went from being kind of soft and flabby looking to looking like a killer in just 2 weeks.
Prison Mike.
Yeah.
All of a sudden show back up.
Exactly.
Like, how did he look like this?
Yeah.
The other big topic is Eddie Hall versus the two lightweights.
Man, that was...
Like that one.
Oh, dude. Like the right hook from hell. Like, I don't even know how else to say that. Like, he literally got through. Then as soon as he got back up, down. Yeah. Over.
Well, you know,
Dave, have you seen that video?
I've seen clips so far.
It's awesome.
I'm showing you. I've not found the full fight anywhere, but I can find that last bit everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I showed y'all the Romanian fight, didn't I?
Yeah,
the dude and the two chicks.
So
yeah,
so this is Eddie Hall, but a set of twin brothers that are what do they weigh? 145 pounds,
something like that. Yeah, I think they're in like the 60 or 70 kilo weight range.
So pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it was bad.
This is like sanctioned in Romania. It looks like they're in a UFC octagon. The guy's wearing gloves, the chick's wearing gloves and headgear in an arena, and the dude's way out of shape.
Oh man,
and those girls start in on him at first. And you're like, oh, they might actually win this. Then he just sucks one of them.
You can tell, like,
stumble away.
Funk.
When it started, you could tell he didn't want to be there. Okay, like he's like kind of at the cage, like I don't want to be in this fight right now.
He's like, man, I can't do that. Can I? You know,
then once he gets rolling,
I was about to say you could see the moral debate rolling. But then I think the minute
after they clocked him in the nose a few times, he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he took one too many punches.
Then the ref was pulling him off of one of them.
Yeah, she's down. Yeah.
If that guy had any cardio whatsoever,
dude, his gut was hanging down to his knees.
Yeah. But also, did you see what came out of the Eddie Hall fight? Immediately after, calls out Pudzianowski.
Oh man! Now see, that's a way
Mariusz Pudzianowski, dude. I was like, "There's no." Apparently, Eddie. Do you know who that is?
Strongman.
Yeah. Like the strongman. He's the only 5-time winner.
Well, he's no Holland.
But. He is a monster.
Okay.
And like he quit strongman and then went to UFC. We actually did a whole episode on him. He's He's very interesting.
Check that episode out.
But he went from strongman to UFC, and he also owns
bed and breakfast.
No. He trained security guards and stuff. Like, the dude is a monster. But yeah, Eddie Hall called him out for a UFC fight.
Yeah, I was like,
that's a mistake.
I was like, he picked the toughest dude that he could think of.
I know. I was like, dude, you lost to Hafthor Bjornsson. I don't know that you should pick a more bad person.
Yeah.
But When
Do
you,
or die.
If I was going
Yeah,
to
I
box a
think-
celebrity, I'd pick somebody whose name had been announced in that fake accent from like The Great Gatsby and crap. Like they'd be ancient.
I was wondering where you were going with
Like
that.
the last time their name was announced anyway was the Lightning Kid here.
He comes out in a walker.
Yeah. If he doesn't fight one fist behind the other.
Oh,
The old pugilist stance.
why, yeah, you water.
Hard pass.
Well, before we move
Come
on,
out looking like the Notre Dame leprechaun.
Yeah, he better have the mustache off the screen with Sicilian boxes of pizza.
yeah, and it's curled out this way. All right, one of you guys got an ad before we segue out?
Holland was just whispering to me that he had an ad and was fired up for it.
I'd like to fight Steven Seagal.
That's not an ad, but you can
is
still
now.
call that out.
I mean, I've gone a couple episodes without calling out Steven
We'd
Seagal.
even let him sit in his chair. He's been doing fight scenes from a chair lately.
Yeah, I will fight him sitting beside him in his chair. We'll just
This
slap
sounds like
fight.
is this
You'll let
Dr.
him
Seuss?
start in a rear naked seated choke. That little kill in Santa's lap.
My brother Timmy would
The one that ate the tree?
yeah, the one that ate the tree. Yeah.
The tree.
Oh yeah. He was
yeah.
cutting a tree. There were a couple trees down. One was under
He ate
a
it
lot of
long
pressure,
ways.
and he cut it loose, and the
Hot
tree
dog
came
style.
back and clocked him in the face. And I don't know. He ended up having like 8 plates put in, and it busted a lot of stuff up. But like,
Man.
Looked fine 2 days later.
like literally like a week later, you couldn't tell anything happened.
Yeah.
It's weird. But
Part of beaver.
Hold on. Holland went to go see him, and he showed me a picture of what he looked like. He looked rough.
oh god, yeah.
And he goes, they came and asked what his pain was at. What did he say, 8? Or
They're like, Mr. Millsaps, we gave you some pain, or we're gonna give you some pain medicine. On a scale of 1 to 10, where's your pain? And he was like, of course, all of his stuff is he's not talking.
He's
at
so
this
swollen
point.
up, he looks like a ventriloquist. doesn't
Yeah. So he holds up 4 fingers, and they were like, it's a 4, and he was like, he held up 4, then 5,
Didn't
then
think
4.
about it
He
for
went
a
with
minute.
4.
Oh.
I was like, his pain level is at a 4.
His face is just crushed.
Oh,
looked like
yeah.
you
If you
looked
could
like
see-
you used his face to tear down a building.
Oh.
You know,
it was
like
bad.
This is a tough guy.
If you'd have
Yes.
gave him a Nurple, he'd have went to 5.
My theory is that he only said that because Holland was there.
yeah. I've been like, don't be a wuss.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you say anything above 5, you are disowned.
You are not my brother anymore.
Swear to God, I'll give you a Wet Willie.
But he would wrestle guys so we worked in the trail department together, and there'd be all these like college guys come in, and they'd always, and Timmy, my brother's a pretty big guy, and they'd always like, oh yeah, whatever, we could take it. Timmy's like, I'll start on my knees and let both of you come at me from any 2 directions that you want. And like that's how he would wrestle. He would start and let them.
Goodness gracious.
But he would like just face palm people and then throw them, you know.
Listen, it's impressive, but they're Millsaps, so it's
When the tree
they're
hit his
normal.
face, it burst into millions of toothpicks. Big pile of toothpicks. The park's been trying to clean it up for months.
Months. It caused a terrible mess.
They're trying to get volunteers, like the big toothpick raking. They're having a soup drive with it. It's a whole
you would
thing.
have thought there were thousands of beavers out there, but it's just one Timmy.
Really small ones, like the tiny giraffes, just little bitty beavers that are finishing off the branches into little toothpicks. They're like the Keebler elves of the wood world.
So back to the ad.
Oh yeah. So NutriFit.
Watch it, Steven.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get this ad out.
Yeah, well,
and then we can move on.
Yeah. NutriFit. Have you ever tried NutriFit? Any NutriFit products?
I have not.
Get out.
I'll tell you what. They've
Out of
got.
here.
Listen, I don't. I'm not a pre-workout guy, and Caleb loaned me some of their pre-workout the other day, and I bought their.
He didn't tell him he was taking it. He kind of spiked his drink.
Yeah. I found out afterwards.
He got dosed with NutriFit.
I was like, man, why am I so hyped up? And he was like, oh, well, it's that NutriFit Carnage.
He had a little bit in a baggie and shook it at him. He didn't even say what it was.
Yeah.
He was just like,
And then I just salt baited into his cup.
in Holland's heart there.
I said, "Open your mouth, baby boy." And then
Achieve some new levels.
And then he looked like one of the guards after they opened the Ark of the Covenant and Indiana Jones.
gosh.
My face melted.
Anyways, it's strong stuff.
It is. It's good too.
375 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh my goodness!
As soon as you wake up and taste it, it's delicious.
Yeah.
As soon as you wake up and taste it.
He means when your face stops tingling.
Oh, okay. I got you.
No, I meant when you wake up. It blacks out when you take it.
Yeah, when you come back to, it's okay.
I took 2 scoops yesterday. I woke up 3 hours later. My taxes are done. All the weights were neatly in a corner, and I was wearing a French maid outfit. I don't know what happened, but I had a good burn. I didn't ask any questions. NutriFit.
Yes, and they're bloodlust pump caps. It's like
real lust.
It's kind of like the old NO2 things.
Really good.
But yeah, they work great, and they don't give you the jitters or whatever. Like
I was breathing so good that day.
Dude, it opens up your nasal passages and everything. You're like,
yeah, I think people there, because this was at an event, is actually at that event.
Oh yeah,
and I think people thought we were on drugs because I kept joking. I was walking around going, I'm breathing so good, but I forgot everybody else didn't know what I was talking about.
And this lady was like, "Why are you breathing so good?"
Yeah. So now Holland's got to explain to this woman it's bloodlust pump caps.
And I was like, the name doesn't actually go with what it does.
I got you.
And she was like, "Oh, bloodlust," you know. But yeah,
I thought it was an aphrodisiac.
Yeah, really
It's
good
untight.
stuff though.
Yeah.
And if you go to NutriFit.com and use promo code CalebCDay, you get a fat discount.
Fat old discount.
Fat old discount. True
Thick
story.
old girl.
True story. I love that your ad was nothing prepared. You just said, you tried NutriFit.
Well, I mean, I got a new guy here. I know you guys know about NutriFit.
or get a power bomb.
Caleb don't know anything.
Yeah.
Caleb
I'll
don't know
pop out of the
sales.
bushes and slam you.
Clip it. That's going on a TikTok.
Holland
but-
was selling to the customer we have.
Yeah.
Instead of the hypothetical customer. You know, no, he's the Jordan
marketing
Belfort of this
101.
podcast.
All right. Start calling you JB from now on. All right. Well,
The Wolf of the Iron Palace.
to segue, since this guy kind of encompasses both of our worlds here, being that for one, your first hint. So I like to give you a few hints to see if primarily Holland can guess who it is, because Dave will never guess right.
Explain the segment to your guest. You just kind of went into it. Just kind of like he's got a guess. He tells.
I was rolling, man.
Yeah, he tells a story about a strong man
I was
every week.
I was literally just saying that.
Well, you did that backwards. He was like, "You're gonna guess," and then he's like, "I could tell." I was like, "You went the wrong way." He was confused. You had confused our friend here. All right, I just want to be clear. Go ahead.
Anyways, I'll read a few hints.
He's gonna read
about-
a whole story and then tell you at the end.
No, that was only when Holland couldn't think of Milo of Croton.
Dang.
But Milo of Crouton.
They messed with me for the entire hour.
True.
Because I couldn't think of dude's name.
I didn't.
So I'll give you a few hints, and then if no one guesses, eventually I'll tell you who it is.
Okay.
So your first hint,
Santa.
and it's a doozy. He lived from 1881 to 1956.
Eisenhower.
And this is people in the category of strong men.
Strongman. But
1850.
the also other hint, and you will get a better hint about this, but this does involve strongman and wrestling.
Okay.
I'll go on with the next hint since that one was so vague.
Yeah.
He did not follow a set program or force himself to do any lift, set, or weight that he wasn't in the mood for.
What? Wow. That's
Is this guy like a pioneer of weightlifting movements?
In a way.
Does he have a movement named after him?
In the USAWA, yes.
George Peoples.
Richard
No.
Bowell.
Hackenschmidt?
No.
Bowel movement.
No, but that was last
whatever.
week, so you are close.
Kurt Angle.
So the third hint before we start going into the story is
Steve Shanks.
no. He wrestled an elephant as part of his circus performance.
What?
I'd like to also preface that's a baby elephant. I meant to type that in there and I didn't. Still, either way,
Still.
I mean, it doesn't change a whole
Let's
lot,
go wrestle some elephants.
especially when I get into the details about that. But yeah, he wrestled a baby elephant as part of his circus performance.
Wow. I don't care who it is. I just want to hear about this.
I don't know.
I'm going to be honest, I hadn't heard of this person like I've heard like about a few of their lifts, but never in depth. So especially that they wrestled an elephant.
That's epic.
Yeah. I mean, how do you even take an elephant down?
I was thinking,
How do you score
fight in
points,
the trunk or the legs? I don't.
Yeah.
How do you win?
is this
Do you have to get
going?
it laying down? Do you have to make it cry? Like, how do you determine who won that fight?
You got a hold of its
Yeah.
trunk and you're like,
Yeah, see uncle, see uncle.
As long as you don't look like one of those brothers in the Eddie Hall fight, I think they're okay.
They've got a hell of an ear to twist.
yeah.
Does it hurt though, since there's so much?
I don't know. Give them an Indian burn on their tail.
That's pain, brother. That's pain. All right, so reaching a weight of 245 pounds
The
at
elephant or the guy?
we're still talking
I
about
was
the
like,
guy.
that's a tiny elephant.
Yeah.
No.
But let's back that up. If a 245-pound elephant.
Yeah, that's a preemie elephant.
Yeah.
At a height of 6'1", he had 18-inch biceps, 16-inch forearms, 27-inch thighs, and an expanded chest of 52 inches. Still no guesses? So another man that shared the same hometown as this was someone you may have heard of, being Arthur Saxon. That's his stage name, at least.
Yeah.
Who was reported to be the strongest man of all time. However, in the autobiography that I will mention later about this man, it is pointed out that he is equal or exceeds Saxon's best lifts and deserves that reputation. So he also,
George St. Pierre.
in 1909, he joined the Socialist Workers Club, Atlas, and then served in World War I, where he lost an eye, and then he was also hit by over 200 pieces of shrapnel, which they later removed most, but not all.
It's Toby Keith's daddy. He lost his right eye, dude, but they flew a flag out of the yard of the day he died, dude. Whatever.
I'm stumped on this one. Sounds like
I thought
just
I
an
had
epic guy.
He is.
So it
and
sounded like he could raise a Toby Keith.
that's
for
why
sure.
I have so many notes on this guy, and I don't even barely scratch the surface. Like, this dude's insane.
Is it the dog from Wishbone?
Yes. So his most popular yet not his most impressive feat was wrestling a baby elephant. The funny thing about this particular feat was that when he began his tour, the elephant weighed 700 pounds. But by the time the tour was over, it weighed a staggering 1,500 pounds.
I want that elephant tested.
That being said, he
on
never once complained about the weight of the elephant.
Did he have to pick the elephant up?
I don't know.
Like, 'cause I'm thinking about Milo of Croton, lifting.
I mean, that's true. We actually remember when we did that story. We actually talked about how much that cow weighs.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Alan? Of course, he's not here today. But Alan
Jeez,
told us he found out about that breed of cow. Have you heard of Milo of Croton?
Vaguely.
He's the guy that
Greek
yes.
historical figure.
Yes, he carried he started with a calf and then carried it every day
As it grew.
Yep, all the way until it was a full-grown adult.
So, like, he
Like Stanley Yelnats and holes.
Yes.
he won it, like, at the Olympics, and then carried it back
wasn't there
into the
some
next
benefit or
Olympics.
So that was the part that I couldn't. That everybody said they never found actual evidence that he carried it to the Olympics, but they do know that he did carry this cow.
Yeah. Okay.
But just never to the Olympics.
See, I thought he carried it there and then butchered it.
Yeah, that was all like kind of what fed into the legend and myth of it, but I never found that he actually did it. However, Alan found out that it was a breed of cow that they said reaches, 400 something pounds?
Yeah.
So it's not like today's cow.
12, 14.
Right.
pounds.
Yeah.
They hired him to toss.
It's still
the cows in Monty
impressive,
Python.
absolutely.
but it at least makes it more, at least in my head, doable.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because we had this long conversation when we did that story about how.
I had heard the story before, and I was like, dude, cows can be 2,000 pounds. I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
carrying-
That's what we said.
No, this is like,
Yep.
Greek mythology.
Calling 400 pounds of cows hate speech, boys. I hate to break it to you.
So, anyways, he never once complained about the weight of the elephant. His only complaint was about the rough hide, that it would leave his skin raw.
Okay.
Moisturize that elephant.
I guess you need to.
Ashy elephant.
And then, so one of his most impressive lifts that was also his most popular, other than the elephant, is his right hand only deadlift of 727 pounds.
Right hand only, huh? Suspicious.
His training sessions weren't for the faint
Oh,
of
we know
heart.
his training sessions on the right hand only lift.
On average, he trained 4 to 5 days per week, with each session lasting about 2 hours. If he was performing at a club, and when he trained in the open air, it would vary between 3 and 4 hours, and sometimes longer.
Wow.
With that, you can boil down his training to a few principles. Train frequently. Train by mood and feel. Never, ever train to your limit. Always be progressive. Use plenty of variety. And use low reps, but do lots of exercises in a workout.
Dodge, dip, dive,
Yes.
duck, and dodge.
So, that being said, to add to his variety, a typical deadlift session would consist of him training any 4 of these 12 styles. Index fingers only with 2 hands in overhand grip. Index fingers only with 2 hands in reverse grip. Middle fingers only with 2 hands in overhand grip. A lot of finger deadlift stuff. Like his thing was to train grip and then the lift. Like he kind of went backwards from what most people do.
Grip is
When you said
foundation
styles.
for a lot of your lifts,
Right.
so, yeah.
And I agree, but most people, especially nowadays, people use
Totally opposite.
Yeah, they use straps and just think, okay, we got to hit posterior chain and then we'll figure grip out later.
Yeah.
When you said styles, I got excited. Now I'm a little disappointed because I thought it was going to be like kung fu styles, like a crane style. Then he trains it
No.
panda style.
Mantis.
See,
Then he crouching mantis style.
I've got them all listed out, and I realized it's literally just index fingers only, middle fingers only, index and middle fingers
Middle
only,
fingers only,
2
stone
hands
cold
deadlift with normal grip, 2 hands stiff-legged, 2 hands rapid deadlift, 2 hands bent, 2 hands deadlift with reverse. It's every kind of deadlift you can think of.
Sounds like a CD of a bunch of early 2000s rap songs about dances.
But his grip was,
Unreal.
Oh, we're getting there, buddy.
I mean,
That's also why there are 2 or 3 lifts in the USAWA that are finger deadlifts.
Search.
Nope.
did he ever?
I forgot we were still guessing.
Did he ever attempt the inch dumbbell?
Not the inch dumbbell, but he had something similar.
The 2-inch dumbbell.
Actually, you're pretty close.
The 3-inch
Which is, oddly, I'm glad you went there, Dave, because that leads us right into this next one. In his performances, he would very rarely exert himself anywhere near his limits. He would always hold back and knew that he could achieve far more than what he would attempt in his performances. To put that in perspective, a big part of his show was to press a 330-pound barbell overhead, and would also like to add that the barbell was 2 3/8 inch in diameter. After pressing it, he would invite anyone to come try it. So he would press it, set it down, say, come on up. He also had a dumbbell that he would do that with on top of a barbell. So, the dude's insane. Like it literally, like everything we've talked about, he's got like a little bit of grip, a little bit of deadlift. Like the dude's crazy.
That's unreal. Wide of a grip on him.
Yeah.
You're like that right there. You're getting no hands around
Yeah,
that.
you're like, well, it's a Coke can.
Good Lord.
It's that.
Oh, wow. That's unreal.
So, any more guesses, or do you just want me to tell y'all?
I feel like I'm
See,
so
like-
close to getting it.
Search
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
last one. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I keep wanting to say Louis Cyr just because of the dumbbell,
Again, you're closer, but no.
Montel Williams.
but Louis Cyr was nowhere near Saxon, Arthur Saxon.
Were they an
No.
Illuminati?
So
No. So, the man's name is Herman Gorner,
Oh, Herman was my next.
also known as Gorner the Mighty.
That's what I've got in my phone under. That's why I didn't guess. So, yeah.
So, to add to his feats of strength, because there's a lot of them, and also, so he's from the same town as Arthur Saxon, but yet he is not. Everyone in his hometown in Germany does not recognize this guy.
What?
You can read up anywhere in like England. It actually says any English-speaking area loves this guy. Like, he is like one of the epitome of strength people.
Callback.
Yeah, but his hometown, they're like, nah, he's all right.
That's unreal.
Yeah, but then like
Arthur Saxon, he's the man.
that's it. They're like, Arthur Saxon. No, dude, he's up there. But this guy who's outright like they've outright not given him world records because they're like, no, it's fine. Like, even whenever they've gone back later and proved, no, he broke it. He said, no, too late.
Nah.
Like it's crazy. But I mean, he would get world records.
Why do they not like him?
I don't know. There was never a
He
reason.
wasn't like some bad guy or something.
No, he just started traveling the world doing his thing. But people, I forget where he's from now. It's in Germany, but either way, yeah. They're like, oh, this race car driver, that dude's awesome. This guy that deadlifts 727 pounds with one finger,
Were they racist? Because it was old Germany. Is that why they hated him?
I mean, he was put in a concentration camp at one point.
That could be why.
Just FYI. So, his feats of strength.
Oh,
Yeah. You just left out the one reason why Germany historically has hated people on a massive
that
scale.
in there.
He ended up there mysteriously.
Yeah, I don't know how. Weird. But,
He lived
So-
at 56. He got out.
They stopped him at one of those kiosks in Gatlinburg for the timeshares. Next thing he knows,
locked in. So his deadlift was 360 kilos or 790 pounds with an overhand hook grip and an 840 pound with mixed grip.
Wow.
Now, these are big numbers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to put this in
Oh,
the early 1900s, nuts.
Yeah.
people wouldn't know how to even process what they're seeing.
Yes.
Well, that's like, I've seen videos in from the 80s of World's Strongest Man, and the deadlift ladder tops out at 750.
That's my point. And
like-
this guy's doing it a double overhand.
Yeah.
Like,
I get all my vintage strongman information from old episodes of American Gladiator.
it's a good place.
Yeah.
So then he had a one-handed block deadlift of 734 pounds, a one-handed deadlift of which is the 727 we talked about. Another one-handed deadlift of 664, I'm assuming is another hand. Deadlift 600 pounds using just 2 fingers of each hand, normal and reverse grip. Deadlift, best deadlifts was a lift of 830 pounds. Rather unorthodox, as the makeup of the weight lifted was concerned, it was done in the following manner. Gorner took a bar weighing 441 pounds, had 2 men stand, one on each end of the bar, then deadlifted it to full competition height and held it for several seconds to the satisfaction of the judges.
Let it go, dabbed, grabbed it, and lowered it.
Yeah, that's what I see. Pinch grip, 110 pounds. Clean and press, I will say, of all the lifts, the pinch grip of 110 is good. Not as up there as some of his other ones.
Yeah, it's not unworldly like
Yeah.
his other. Yeah.
Pinch grips is like a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Clean and press of 391 pounds. One-handed snatch.
That's a felony.
169 pounds. With a one-handed snatch of 169 pounds with a barbell with a 2 3/8 inch handle. I hate you.
How much was that last one? The weight?
169 pounds.
Okay, so it's just under the inch. Thomas Hinch dumbbells 172.
Oh, I guess it
He was
is.
still thinking about the
But
felony.
this is a barbell.
But I was just thinking about the grip.
Oh,
That-
yeah.
That's a similar.
Yep, it's 200 or 2 3/8 inch handle on a barbell with a one-handed snatch.
Yeah.
To me, that seems harder than the inch dumbbell.
Yeah. Because Mark Henry and who has Brian Shaw done it?
Yes.
Done
Oh,
the-
Brian Shaw's.
Done the snatch with it.
Oh, the snatch.
Yeah.
I know Brian Shaw can, but I don't think he's done the snatch.
So far, Mark Henry's the only one that's done that in competition.
I want to say there's more, but off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Okay. Because I was
Speaking
just,
of wrestling, do you know that about Mark Henry?
Being world's strongest man.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
like indecisively. Like I actually just seen this argument today. Funny enough.
He did that one. I remember seeing him do this one crazy lift. It had like the plates were like these giant, still
Yeah.
looking wheels. It was
Yeah.
like 440
Yeah.
over his head or something crazy.
And before he got there, one person had. Did they even have one rep yet? I think no one had a rep with it, and then
Yep,
he
that's
got
the
up and
video I
did
saw.
3.
yeah.
I didn't know about the 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We also did a whole story on him too. The dude's which the argument I saw today is it okay for him to call himself world's strongest man? The argument being,
At one point he was.
well, he never did world's strongest man. He did the Arnold.
Okay.
But the
Then-
reason that my argument stands that yes he can is because
Wasn't
he beat. There were still people that compete in world's strongest man that were there, and he beat them very indecisively.
he? Okay.
Like, well, and before he went to go do that competition, Vince McMahon told
Yeah.
him, he was like, we don't have a spot for the world's second strongest man.
Yep. Because he went in. I think. Well, it's actually his mom.
about right.
His mom had passed away, and he said he wanted to do that for one, because he's been calling himself the world's strongest man, but he wanted to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he said that he wanted to do that because his mom bought him his first weight set when he was growing up. So he wanted to do that for his mom.
Honor to her.
And that was the first strongman competition at the Arnold.
Okay.
That was the opening for it. So he went and said, I'm going to go do it. And that's when Vince said, if you go do it, we don't have room for the world's second strongest man.
Yeah.
Win or don't come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying. Yeah. But
That guy did a lot of stuff like
dude,
that.
he showed up and that's why in my mind, yeah, even though you didn't do World's Strongest Man, you beat a lot of people that either have won or podiumed at World's Strongest Man, and you beat them really badly.
I would probably skew to then saying it'd be okay for him to say that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
and on top of that, he was an Olympic medalist in
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
weightlifting.
Yeah.
He was a gold
You
medal
tell him
winner.
it's not okay to say that.
That's also it. Like, I'll tell him that from a mile away. Text message.
Dude, I'll DM him right now.
He's a neat guy.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of like a gangster too,
Yep.
in a way. I saw a video of him here the other day saying, "Yeah, I got in trouble. You know, when I first started wrestling, I told Shawn Michaels I was going to kill him."
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Yep.
about.
I put that in our story we did because
okay.
the guy was messing with him, and he thought
He's serious, man.
Yeah, he told I forget who he was talking to. He said, if he comes near me one more time, I will snap his neck behind the bleachers.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the guy
serious.
The guy had to come tell him, I was just kidding, man. He goes, I don't play like that.
Yeah, I wasn't joking.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
I was
I
like,
use one of his
Jesus.
moves quite a bit. His finisher, the world's strongest slam.
Yep.
You just pick him up straight, bam, straight down. And I always love that.
Oh, it's
Simple
yeah.
power move.
yep.
Holland puts me in a Texas cloverleaf a lot.
Okay. I don't even remember where I stopped now. Oh yeah. Okay. So he leg pressed 24 men, totaling a weight of 4,120 pounds on a plank with the soles of his feet.
Those metric men.
Yes. There's
Okay.
there's pictures of that one. I didn't save it, but yeah, there's pictures of that one out there.
The most I've ever done is 1595 for 10. And that was a while back. My max, I know I could probably get 2,000 something up, but like
Double
that.
that.
is Stupid. That doesn't even make
And
sense.
whenever you're pressing people, it's different.
Oh yeah, it's a different.
So, which
I
you
would
know
say it
very
would.
well. So
Oh yeah, the weight isn't just there.
Yeah.
It's this moving thing.
Yep.
24 people totaling
Mhm.
4,000 pounds. I
Yeah,
would press
casually.
a couple tons.
And what kills me about all this is like you hear these crazy numbers, but he never trained to failure. He never did something he
That's
knew
one
he
of his
can't do
parameters, yeah.
over it. Like I saw,
What was his max?
Yeah.
6,000 pounds.
yeah. What does he do? Like, so then his last one is in July 25th, 1920. He lifted the enormous weight of nearly 440 pounds overhead in the two hands anyhow style. Have you heard of that before?
No, I have not.
So the anyhow style means anyway, like however you see fit to get this bar over your head.
Okay.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
probably.
So to perform this feat, he used 4 kettlebells. The first swung with the right hand to arm's length, 2 kettle weights, one weighing 150 kilos or 110 pounds, and the other 99. Still holding the bells overhead, he then bent down, picked up with the left hand another kettlebell weighing 110 pounds, which he then swung to arm's length and transferred to the thumb of his right hand. Then, still holding the 3 kettlebells overhead in his right hand, he lowered his body and carefully, with his left hand, picked up the 4th kettlebell, which he slowly swung to arm's length and combined weight then held overhead for the referee's court was, as stated, no less than 430 English pounds.
He didn't pick up a bar. He just took his time and stacked kettlebells over his head.
In each finger, kind of like I carry in groceries. But
Talk about surpassing your limits.
Yep.
That's
crazy.
So all this and more about like a super fascinating person that for some reason even I'd never heard of. Whenever I'd research people to do stories on, he was one that I'd found just because I seen the wrestling with an elephant.
Oh yeah, that stands out.
Yeah. Yeah, like you see the picture pop up of a guy wrestling an elephant. Of course you're going to look at it.
Yeah.
But I never actually researched into him, which is why I love this segment because these are people I wouldn't just casually look up
Yeah.
in my own time. But so there's a lot to learn about him, and the number one book to read about it is his autobiography written by his best friend called Gorner the Mighty by Ed Mueller, and it's one of the most recommended out there.
I've got it in pop up.
I believe it. All right, Dave, you got an ad?
Yes, the Kentucky Open. It's coming up. It's getting real close. August. Don't look at me. I'm forgetting. I'll forget if it's August 19th or the 17th.
17th.
17th. August 17th.
I would laugh if even I'm wrong.
We could be at this point. Somerset, Kentucky, at the what's the convention center called?
I don't know that.
Yeah.
At the Expo Center.
Yeah, we'll look it up on Facebook. All the information,
Somerset.
all the information's on our Facebook and the USAWA Facebook, and Clint can get you hooked up too. He's all the time pumping it out.
Weightlifting competition.
Yeah, it's actually a whole expo. It's kind of like a miniature version of the Arnold.
Oh, cool.
In Somerset, Kentucky. So there'll be.
It's not too far away.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
two
right
and
at
a half hours, something like that.
right at 2, I think.
That's not bad at all.
Yep. So there'll be. We'll be doing a strongman competition or an old timey strongman. It'll be the People's Deadlift, which is actually named after Bob Peoples from Knoxville. It's a rack pull pretty much.
It's an 18-inch deadlift.
Yep. For max weight. And then it'll be the Hackenschmidt floor press. Is that right? Yeah. Which is named after George Hackenschmidt. And that's a floor press. What's that, 18 inches also?
15.
15 inch from the floor. You just lay flat on the floor, press.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be doing 2 of those. And then as the intermission, we'll be doing a live podcast and then going to Record Breaker, which you go through any that you can sign up and compete if you want to. You can go through any of the USAWA registered lifts or the IAWA registered lifts and pick,
I probably could win. I would
pick
be in
any
competition.
5 and go for a world record or national
Guarantee
record.
you could find some records to break.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause-
there's a lot of them that don't like have attempts or anything on it.
They're all
So
by
I
weight class
saw
and age.
You setting one on one of your videos. It was like your.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the Denny Stone deadlift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the Denny deadlift, I think is the actual name in USAWA, or the Shanks lift in IAWA.
Yeah.
It's
I get
after
what you're saying. It isn't as far reach to do some of it just because there isn't a lot of experience from people
Right.
doing it. Okay.
Yeah,
And
there's some lifts like we're doing 2. There's some that just don't get done a lot in competition.
Well,
so you
and
can
there's
find them
also
like,
done
oh,
by
that one's
weight
like 20
class.
pounds. I can do that one.
Oh, okay.
So
I was
you've got-
curious.
Yeah,
That's,
you've
Yeah,
got
so-
it by weight class. So like a lot of times, there's just not a lot of people competing in your weight class, or people that are competing and them just aren't as big as you.
does it go like into an unlimited weight at one point in time, like above 250 to whatever, or is there still segments like 250, 260,
So,
270?
What is it? 125 plus.
125 plus.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kilo,
well, yeah.
125 and then 125 plus.
Okay.
Yep. The one that I did that in was the 120 kilo.
Okay. Oh, about 264 or something like that.
I weighed in dead at 164 or right at 120 kilo. Like the scale said, 120.0.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I did that on purpose.
I have to check this out. That's neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd
Pull
like
weight.
to come up to the expo thing too. I mean, I've been to the Mr. Olympia before back in 21, but
Yep.
that was just because I was in Florida at the time and got to go. But that'd be neat to go to something like that and not have to fly or drive so far away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. So I recommend going. If you want to compete, we can hook you up too.
Okay.
But
I don't know. I might find something. Who knows?
But- oh,
That'd
yeah.
be fun.
Yeah, and I think you don't have to compete in the Kentucky Open to do the record day.
yeah, I think you can just sign up for record day.
Just to do the record.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
you
'cause
just
Beth
have to
did
have
that.
a USAWA membership and
Yeah,
then
you can-
sign up.
You can sign up online or whatever. Yeah, got you.
Yep, very easy. I think it's $25 membership fee,
Okay.
and then that covers you for calendar year.
Oh, that's fine.
And
You can
do-
pick 5 records to break.
Yep.
And
That's neat.
yeah, and like they're some of them are crazy, like bent press or the Hackenschmidt or the
Yep.
whatever. Then there's
Some of them are real wonky.
or the one that me and Holland are finally about to break. The only reason we haven't broke it yet is you have to have, for world records, you have to have, is it 2 or 3 judges? 2?
two. Yeah, you have to have 2 judges
From the
you're-
organization.
Yeah.
Certified. Gotcha.
But
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, you have to have 2 certified referees to get a world record. And the last time that we would have had it, we only have 1.
So you did it.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
But
We've
didn't
done it.
have the other official to
We've done it
certify.
multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah, we-
so you know it's in the bag.
we've pulled it with, what, 3
Yeah.
times?
But we do the 2-man deadlift. It's a deadlift, but with 2 people on the bar.
Yeah.
Side by side.
How much weight you doing?
1250 is what we're going for.
Yeah.
We pulled, what was the last time? 1102.
1102. Okay.
Easy 1102.
I thought it was 11. I thought it was 1150 something.
No, we were going to, but we didn't have
Standard
another referee.
Olympic bar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So one arm's on the outside of the weight, on the inside. You're just literally right next to each other, tight
Yep.
grip. Wow. Okay. Didn't know that was the thing.
Yeah, our inside hands, we hold hands.
Yes.
This is cool. USAWA, most of the lifts have some kind of
Pinky fingers hook
old
'em together.
strongman story or something behind them. So a lot of the lifts are pretty peculiar. They're neat.
If you look through the USAWA, there's a whole section called Old Timey Strongman, and most of those are named after people like Gorner.
Okay.
And then there's George Hackenschmidt, Bob Peoples.
You won't see on there just a squat. Like it'll say the somebody squat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when you first said that, I was like, man, going to world records, these powerlifting. I haven't even been to a powerlifting meet.
How many do we have broken our meet?
Out of that place.
How many do we have broke at our meet amongst like 4 competitors, 5?
Talking about in the record breaker, or
Yeah. How
total?
many records we have broke
Total.
that day?
We had there were
At least 30.
Yeah.
I think it's 40.
Goodness gracious.
I think we had 40 records
out
broke.
of 4 people.
there were
That's unreal.
Well, and Clint did records.
Yeah.
Me and you did record. No, you didn't do records.
yeah I did a
So what? 5 or 6? Then?
I did something just to beat what's his face.
I'm really,
Oh,
I'm really
yeah.
intrigued by this.
Yeah,
You
definitely
said
look it up.
August 17th.
If you look into it, you can definitely
that
find
a
some records
Saturday?
you can break.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
yeah, you can find it. I mean, they're some of the records, some of the lifts they've only been like acknowledging records for like a couple of years.
Yeah, that's
And so
also it too.
Maybe only.
Still, that's a neat opportunity.
Yeah.
Just to do something.
So
like
you can
that.
say I have a world record in this.
Actually,
Absolutely.
also to bring it back to wrestling, there is a lift in the USAWA called the Van Dam lift.
Yeah,
That USAWA went to Rob Van Dam and asked him to make a lift so they could register it to help bring the publicity to it. You don't want to do it.
Oh no. Okay. Well.
No, you know who Juju Mufu is?
Yeah.
Okay, it's one of those where you're doing the splits across 2 benches and
good,
you're
I'm
picking,
yeah.
Wow.
and you pick a dumbbell up off the ground.
You lost me right there.
I know.
Doing the split.
I
Yeah.
saw the name and I did exactly what you did. I was like, I gotta check it out. And then I was like, nope, that's a no for me, dog.
What's the one you come up over your head, put on your shoulders, roll it down
That's
your back?
the Lannel lift or something like that.
And then you got to lean back forward, roll it back up your shoulders, grab it back over your head, take it back to the ground.
Then there was one. Is it the Ziegler lift? It's the from the floor, clean. I think it might just be the clean, while balancing a 2.5 pound plate on your head.
Yeah, there's some that are pretty crazy.
This is what I'm doing tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can get lost in this.
I mean, yeah, you can spend hours.
I didn't even know these things existed.
Hours looking up like
Powerlifting, deadlift, bench press, squat.
Right.
That's
USAWA. There's like 220 something registered lifts.
It's cool. You'll see weights that are like super low, but it's not a question of can you lift the weight. It's a question of am I limber enough to do this?
Yeah. Or am I coordinated?
There's some really weird ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's granted there's also a lot of them, but they're broke down into like deadlift with a pointer finger, deadlift with right middle finger. You kind of go through that whole list of fingers.
Yeah.
They're under finger lifts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know that was a thing.
there's a whole like 5 pages of curls.
Yeah, there's a strict curl record. There's a cheat curl record.
Oh yeah,
There's
that's a thing. Cheat curls.
one arm curl.
Yes.
Stanky curl.
stanky leg curl.
Yep.
Finisher curls, what I call those.
Yeah,
That's
but yeah, it's cool that
Nothing, Dave.
USAWA's got a lot of cool stuff. I mean, they're a cool organization.
Yep. I'm glad. I just found out about them. It's not even been a year. Actually, no, yeah, it's not been a year. Probably 8 months ago. And yeah, that's awesome. Highly recommend
check
it.
this out.
I mean, if nothing else, it's a lot of fun to do.
Yeah.
And
you're talking about doing lifts with plates and stretching across that. Yeah.
See, and this is I actually meant to bring this up earlier, and because like the wrestling with an elephant, this is what I love about USAWA. Yeah, you're not going to wrestle an elephant, but like that's the part of strongman that I love is the thing we've talked about since like our second episode is the showmanship side of it. Like that's how this whole thing started was.
Carnivals.
Yes,
Circuses.
circus stuff.
Yep.
No one does this stuff anymore.
Strongman and wrestling both came out of that.
Yeah,
It's not impressive. It doesn't look impressive.
Right.
Because unless you're a professional watching, you don't know how impressive it really is. You have
Right,
to
yeah.
make it look impressive.
Yeah, that's and like okay. So today, prime example. Just saw it today that Brian Shaw has just got a new rig at his house for a leg press with a whole car on top of it, and so he's just leg pressing a car that he'll add weights into or something. I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Like this is the stuff we're missing.
Yeah, I saw. Speaking of Brian Shaw, he's got a. They're doing a wheelbarrow race with a hay baler. That's what they're going to be using for their wheelbarrow.
I'll bill your
It's a hay baler.
What for the Shaw Classic?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Pick a hay baler up, push it around.
Yeah.
That beats me picking up your
Tractor.
with a bush hog on it. Yeah. But yeah, USAWA I think does a really good job of bringing that aspect back to it.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's as much as we'd like it to be like it used to be. You can't wrestle an elephant now.
No, it could never happen.
That's how you get 5 to 10.
Exactly.
Break it in Knoxville Zoo.
Yeah.
Rip Tonka.
I tried that
But
once.
yeah, you can't replicate a lot of it. But I mean, who'd we do one on the other day? I forgot who it was now, but did a thing where he bridged across and had a car drive over him to show how strong he is. Like
Mr. Fantastic?
no.
Yeah.
So like those are the cool things that I think we miss
Yeah.
in strongman, just similar to wrestling. Like, you know, it used to be
That's
well, I think they still do it every now and then. At the high end, they still do it. Like they do the David and Goliath matches, like Big Show and Rey Mysterio. Those are always cool. Unfair, but cool. But
we do a lot of stuff like that in the local, and it's amazing. You can have two guys go out and they do all these crazy moves and stuff, but that isn't what really gets people.
nope.
It's telling a story, getting them to buy into the visual, like you're talking about with strongman. I mean, imagine 100 years ago seeing this guy do. I mean, this stuff's impressive now.
Yeah.
But now you see, you know, of course, you got like the Atlas Stones and some really cool eye-catching movements. But that's neat to think that this organization is kind of moving back towards that way and bringing that attention back. A lot of wrestling's kind of starting. We're getting a lot of attention right now.
Yeah.
A lot of heat. It's a good thing. We're you know, it's nice for the industry, but part of it too is starting to go back a little bit and get away from just all these crazy moves and high flying stuff and the showmanship coming back. You know, I can sit here and I can hit one move on a guy and get the crowd into it over a minute. And this guy over here does 10 moves in the minute. And that one move, because the showmanship and presenting him, holding someone up over my head and walking around. I do this one thing where I'll pick a guy up in a suplex and do squats with him. I'm doing one move, but I'm taking a minute to do it. And so
That's emasculating.
Yeah.
Like
just a little bit.
just waiting for them to drop me on my head. Oh, I'm gonna do some squats.
3 the last time. Of course, so he's like $150. So you know, it's actually my trainer in wrestling. I did
But
it too.
but it looks cool.
But you know,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, talking about having one, like Hulk Hogan had one move. He had the leg drop.
That's it.
You know, that's
Yep.
it. That's all
But
Hulk had.
everyone loved it. The showmanship of it, how he didn't just run over there and flop on somebody. He built it up. When you saw him coming into that person, getting ready to jump, you knew what was happening.
oh yeah, because he
And like-
did the whole
Well, and think about the people's elbow.
Yep.
It's just an elbow drop.
and he took his elbow pad off.
That's a minute move.
But it turned into this huge finisher. Yeah.
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, you didn't have to do a backflip out of the
I
rafters.
hadn't really thought a lot about that connection back to the same point in reference to weightlifting. And, you know, out of that, all modern gym stuff originated. So it's kind of neat to think that something that so many people are involved in, whether it be wrestling, whether it be weightlifting, whether it be strongman, powerlifting, comes back to entertainers at carnivals. That is just unreal.
Can you imagine that now? Like kind of like you said, you know, you got people at home saying like, "Are you okay?" Like with your wrestling thing. But could you imagine like now, like then, if you said you work at a circus and you're a strongman at a circus, oh, that's pretty cool.
He's got a 401k, does he?
Exactly. But now, if I were to tell anybody that I work in a circus,
Yeah.
how's that going?
Oh,
Go?
he's got hepatitis, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Well, same guy.
Carnies.
Yeah.
They're
And
It's like, oh, so when did you get your felony? You know,
The one-handed snatch, he said?
Good callback, Dave. Good callback. That's good podcasting. Give him a high five. There we go. But yeah. You want to hear a tip of the day? Off topic.
absolutely.
So to improve your grip strength, start by opening pickle jars for everyone in the gym. They get cramp relief, and you get muscles.
Pretty good trade-off to me.
yeah.
Always helps Holland.
Alan saved me. we were coming back. We were coming back from this competition.
Okay.
And we got Alan got cracked up over talking about headphones. I mean, over nothing. But he spits his tea all over the windshield. We had to pull over. Well, I started laughing, and I got an ab cramp. And like I'm totally immobilized. I'm trying to stretch out, and I'm stuck in the car. And
It
I
was hilarious.
I had a jar of pickles in the back.
He's yelling, "Get my pickles!
Get my pickles! Get my pickles!"
It's like
Salt.
It's like a guy having an allergic reaction. He's like, "Get my EpiPens!"
Knocked him out all of the cloths. This is emergency, damn it.
Yep. So yeah, there you go. That's how you work
That's
grip
good
strength.
advice. I've seen the Sour Patch Kids in the gyms many times.
Ooh,
Pickles.
I love Sour Patch Kids.
There was a guy up at Armour in Knoxville that like that's like all the time. Like it was like a meme, and then this guy was the meme. But I don't know. Sometimes
Checks
I
out.
wanted some, but I'm no candy from strangers. I'm good, especially out of a gym.
I don't know. If someone's got Sour Patch Kids, I might risk it.
I only take candy from strangers.
I never buy it.
I like the way this guy lives.
I promised myself
Living
not
on the
anymore now that I
edge.
got a job, but there was a time you could get me.
All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
to wrap it up,
Is it already time?
it is. We've been going hour and 10 minutes, boys.
Wow.
I know. Time's fun when you're having flies. That's not the quote, but that is from Kermit the Frog. So, anybody have anything to add?
It might have stepped on the great Kermit's toes.
Definitely thankful for the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for
really
coming.
encouraged about the weightlifting stuff. I can't wait to go home and tell my wife that I think I've got another thing I'm going to be doing here soon.
Yeah, we are not the ones.
Another hobby.
We're not the ones to hang out with if you don't need more weightlifting things to do. Because I mean,
Honey, I've switched gears. Full lucha.
get my mask.
Sometimes
Those-
we wear
that is
stretchy pants.
another animal.
No, yeah, those are crazy.
We do everything from the left side. Lucha people do everything from the right. You wrestle a guy who's a lucha person, not only does he possibly not speak your language, he doesn't do your wrestling style. It is completely inverted.
I bet he gets slammed the same.
I've heard people talk about
do.
that's why Rey Mysterio
They're
is so
usually little
impressive.
people.
They do.
They do. Yeah. They do really well wrestling people like themselves, but then every once in a while, they encounter someone like me, and that's what we would call a squash match. Where
Where you squash them.
yeah, about a minute
I knew
to,
it.
to 3 minutes, and that's if I'm feeling like giving them the 3 minutes. But it's kind of
Holland always gives me 3 minutes.
Yeah.
he's so considerate.
He's a giver. One word to describe Holland. Giver.
Hey.
It's been a blast. I appreciate it. It seems
Yeah.
like I'll have a really good time. Looking forward to going home and learning about what's this gentleman's name one more time.
Make sure.
Herman.
Herman Gorner.
Herman.
That's an
Gorner.
alias.
It is not spelled how you think it would be, but
Spell it
Gorner.
I bet if you just look up strongman that wrestled an elephant, he'll pop right
Oh, I
up.
can guarantee it.
Yeah.
the elephant whisperer.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, a little fun trivia.
Let's hear it.
You know what Mark Henry won for winning the first Arnold?
What?
$10,000.
I do remember that. I thought I remembered it, but I wasn't sure.
10,000. What's the prize now for winning it?
300.
Yes.
It's up there.
Not
Yeah.
the strongman. That's the bodybuilding side.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be getting pretty close to that.
Yeah.
More than 20
now,
for both.
especially the Arnold strongman is starting to get a very large footprint.
Good.
So it's kind of getting up to par. So it might be an equal payout now.
And that podium was Mark Henry, Sven Carlson, and Phil Pfister. But
Get it together, Holland.
I'm just saying-
I love the knee tap.
I'm just saying both of those guys have won World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, that's my point.
Sound like good dudes.
That's what, like if he had
He
won.
can call himself that.
Yeah, if he had won by like half a point or something, then I'd be like, okay, maybe you should actually do World's Strongest Man first.
He beat the
But-
Fister boy, though.
He did beat Phil
He beat,
Pfister.
he beat the far out of Pfister, that's for sure.
Holland.
Come on, grow up.
Grow up, Peter Pan.
So,
Mr. Hell, damn near.
we have a quote.
Yeah, we're getting there. Anyways,
Pfizer Fister.
so anything else to add?
Good.
Thanks again for
Falling apart.
Thanks again for coming out, man. It's been awesome. So
Really enjoyed it.
to close us out, man is a creature of light and air, and I should therefore recommend little or no clothing when training. George Hackenschmidt.
There we go.